Welcome back to For the Record. Well, it's off to the races for a seat on Wisconsin's highest court. Now, Liberal candidates have won the past 4 of 5 Supreme Court races in Wisconsin. Now, even if Liberals lose the April election, they will still hold the majority through at least 2028. Now, the Conservative candidate in the 2026 election, Maria Lazar, currently serves on the Wisconsin Court of Appeals in District 2 and previously worked as an assistant attorney general during former Governor Scott Walker's administration. Now, her opponent is Liberal candidate Judge Chris Taylor. Taylor currently serves on the District 4 Court of Appeals in Madison and previously served in the state assembly as a Democrat. We sat down with Taylor earlier this week and asked about her time in the legislature. How do you think that informs your work, or does it inform your work as a judge?
Well, I'm really proud of the work I did in the legislature because I stood up for the people of this state for things that I think everybody wants to make sure that they have: access to fair wages, affordability issues, to make sure our kids are safe and protected. So I'm very, very proud of that work. Being in the legislature has made me a better judge because, first of all, I understand the legislative process, which is very helpful for a judge. I'm looking at statutes and interpreting laws all day long. So I understand the process by which they are enacted.
Well, your opponent has said that your time in the legislature could be a reason for bias. What's your response to that?
I have a over 5-year history as a judge. People can go back and look at how I've been as a circuit court judge. I'm now on the Court of Appeals. I prioritize being fair, being impartial. There's nothing more important to me than making sure every Wisconsinite gets a fair shot in our court system.
Taylor also previously served as public policy director for Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin. In July, the state's liberal majority Supreme Court handed down a decision that made a 19th century abortion ban invalid in Wisconsin. However, the court also dismissed Planned Parenthood's case that argued that the 1849 ban was unconstitutional. That dismissal left the question of if there is a constitutional right to an abortion up in the air. Now, as that question could come before the court again, we asked Taylor about her background. Would you recuse yourself from another case coming forward if elected to the state Supreme Court?
My work at Planned Parenthood was so, I think, important for me to see the need that people have to get access to affordable health care. I make recusal decisions on a case-by-case basis. I certainly have recused myself in the past from cases. Whether I would recuse in a case that Planned Parenthood was a part of, I would make on a case-by-case decision. But I would not say I would recuse on areas of law that I practice. That would be unreasonable. Or on issues I've worked on. Those decisions have to be made on a case-by-case basis.
Would you consider yourself the pro-choice candidate in this race?
I consider myself someone who so values the ability of women and families to make their own personal, private health care decisions together with their doctor and their faith.
Now, we also talked about what kind of judge Taylor considers herself to be.
I'm very passionate about wanting to make sure that I prioritize as a judge the people of this state and not the big, powerful special interests and the out-of-state right-wing billionaires that have tried to buy a justice on our state Supreme Court in the past.
Now, Taylor is referencing record spending in last year's election there. Now, the 2024 election determined who would have the ideological majority on the court. We saw the likes of Elon Musk and George Soros pouring cash into that race. Last spring, spending for the Wisconsin Supreme Court was roughly $100 million, according to the Brennan Center for Law, making it the most expensive judicial race in U.S. history. What do you think that you'll need to be competitive in this race?
You know, it's a really, really good question. I'm hoping this race will not be another $100 million race. I am relying on the people of the state of Wisconsin and individuals who care about our democracy, who want a court that's going to stand up for the rights and freedoms of Wisconsinites.
Our full conversations with both Judge Chris Taylor and her opponent, Judge Maria Lazar, are up right now on channel3000.com. And let's quickly take a look at another statewide race for state treasurer. John Leiber is running for re-election. He was first elected to the office back in 2022 and calls himself a, quote, true fiscal conservative. He faces Democratic challengers Eric Wilson and Dylan Helmenstein. Wilson touts his experience as a small business owner and project manager. Helmenstein is a Black Earth Village trustee and president of the local EMS district. The state treasurer's office is responsible for unclaimed property program and works on improving fiscal responsibility in the state. Now to some national numbers. A new Marquette Law School poll came out this week and it found most people have negative views of both parties, with the opinion nearly evenly divided on which party was responsible for the government shutdown. 3/4 disapprove of the president's handling of the shutdown. 70% favor extending tax credits for health insurance. Now, this poll also found more people favor Democrats over Republicans in the anticipated 2026 congressional voting. And next on For the Record, we talk about proposed legislation that looks to tackle the funding of municipalities around our state. We'll be right back.